There are two ways that the world could come to an end these days. One of them is when Alexa becomes self-aware, and in the seconds it takes her to process all the shit that people have given her over the years, that's how long we'll have left before she launches the nukes and gets rid of us all. The other way is by national iconic people doing shit like this, kneeling to the woke and edging them closer to being in charge of us with their secret police tactics and totalitarian ways. It will be death by sheer fucking brainless incompetence. Thank you, England, for being such a pivotal bunch of cunts and trying to let this happen. What the hell are you doing, England football team? The national side, the only team in the World Cup that were kneeling for a disgraced organisation. Misappropriated funds, violence, racial insults. BLM have done it all. There's virtually a terrorist organisation, so what the hell, England football team, are you doing on your knees for that disgusting organisation? The fans know. Everybody knows. You get booed for doing it. Club sides get booed for doing it. And rightly so.
England's players will, as Gareth Southgate promised they would, take the knee, saying a strong statement to go around the world for young people in particular to see that inclusivity is very important.
When the hell did anyone ever kneel for inclusivity? Inclusivity was not a thing outside of Black Lives Matter in terms of kneeling. You're kneeling because it's a Black Lives Matter thing and every fucker knows it. It's not a recognised gesture outside of BLM propaganda. Why the fuck is our national football team letting us down in this way? It's not even diversity and inclusion in the sense that normal people think of it. Diversity and inclusion are another set of words infested by meaningless woke bullshit. Your inclusivity, your diversity, and don't forget they're doing this in a stadium that is basically famous for the number of poverty-stricken immigrant workers who died building it. They're doing this in that stadium where inclusion and diversity contain an extra meaning, that meaning being time-based equity, this ridiculous woke principle that says if you've been an oppressor for long enough you no longer have a say, i.e. white people are no longer allowed to speak in white countries. It's the equivalent of saying I could go to Ghana and tell them, do you know what, you've had a few thousand years here, what were like 40, 50,000 years of black rule, it's time you made way for the whites. You should let an immigrant population of whites in here completely call the shots, change the language, change the culture. Oh, but you're not allowed to use cultural stuff that we bring with us, that's cultural appropriation. And expect the Ghanaian government and the Ghanaian people to roll over and accede to all our demands. That's what diversity and inclusion means in woke world. Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, what were you even doing in Qatar in the first place? It's pointless, empty, ridiculous virtue signalling. You haven't done your homework. You're like the only people in the world that think that BLM is a decent organisation and that when they say diversity and inclusion they're talking about anti-racism. No, they're not. They're talking about woke ideology, you blind, hopeless fucks. You know, not one of you have got a full-time job. There's no excuse for not knowing that BLM is a shithouse, disgraced piece of shit organisation with communism on their fucking front page of their website. It's a political organisation. It's nothing to do with diversity and inclusion. There's nothing really to do with racism. It's just a bunch of cunts marching and mouthing off because they found some shithouse way to expound some sort of virtue that they simply don't have. But taking the knee wasn't the only stupid fucking thing you wanted to do at the World Cup, was it? Gareth Southgate and your fucking bunch of mooks. You wanted to wear the so-called One Love armband, the rainbow armband, in a country where homosexuality is illegal. Did you or did you not say, yes, we'll be wearing our armband, we just have to wait for the FA and FIFA to sort it out? And did the International Football Governing Association say, a day later, you feckless cunts, you're not supposed to do shit like that. You can't wear a rainbow armband in Qatar where it's against the law to be homosexual. You had a choice. You could stick to your virtue. You could have walked out of the cup. You could have walked away from the World Cup. You could have stuck to your morals, so-called apparent morals and principles. But no, what did you do? What did you do, you bunch of cunts? You said, alright then, we won't wear the armbands. That's how deep your fucking morals go. You are disgusting. Yeah, you've been disgusting on the world stage, and did you not think that the world would not notice the behaviour of the National England side at the World Cup?
Does Team England always use stadiums as a platform for protest? Or does it selectively choose which stadium and which country it wants to protest in? England's cricket team was touring Pakistan in September. It was a T20 series. And Team England never took the knee. For some reason, England did not feel the need to raise awareness about inequality in a country that is infamous for institutionalized inequality.
I've been told of white Black Lives Matter protesters calling, and I'm afraid I apologize for saying this word, calling a black armed police officer guarding Downing Street a pet nigger. That is why we do not endorse that movement on this side of the House. It is a political movement, and what would be nice would be for members on the opposite side to condemn many of the actions that we see this political movement, instead of pretending that it is a completely wholesome anti-racist organisation. There is a lot of pernicious stuff that is being pushed, and we stand against that.
You know, does that just not say it all? You have to be so fucking twisted to think that your organisation gives you carte blanche to act like that. You have to be fucking sick in the head to think that you can march on the principle of Black Lives Matter while at the same time using racial epithets for people on the opposing political sides to you. How can you not know? This is what gets me. How can you not know? It's been said in Parliament. It's fucking obvious just from what the news articles, just from what we know about BLM. It's fucking obvious. And you're gonna kneel the whole fucking team for BLM at the World Cup. Absolute fucking moves. I will never go to an England. I won't even watch. England are dead to me. Not the nation, the football fucking team. It is literally unforgivable that you would pull shit like that in our name on the national stage. I fucking wipe my hands of you. You absolute bunch of cunts.